Hello, I'm Jodi Ginsberg of Ginsberg Law Offices. Today I want to give you a little bit of information in terms of how workers' compensation claims are started, what does the State Board of Workers' Compensation do, and how do we interact with them as your lawyers. The State Board of Workers' Compensation is essentially the courthouse where all claims are filed relating to workers' compensation in the state of Georgia. It's located downtown in Atlanta, and that is the main place where we file your claims on what's called a WC-14 or your lawsuit. After that, that state board keeps up with all the filings and the records. However, if a case is going to go to a hearing, meaning that there's an issue to be tried, whether the fact is that you're not getting your weekly benefit checks, there's not medical care being provided to you that's proper, you've not gotten mileage reimbursement or prescription medications, whatever the particular issue is, then there are different state boards located around the state, and you will be assigned to go to a hearing at a closest one to where you reside, and or perhaps not where you reside, but where the injury occurred. Sometimes folks don't always live exactly where they work, but they're within a certain number of miles in terms of the venue, what's called a venue, of where the injury took place. We as your attorneys will travel to that location to try the case within the state of Georgia, and that's where we are licensed to practice. The hearing takes place in front of a judge. There is not a jury in workers' compensation at the first level or at any level. And a judge will hear evidence on your case presented both from testimony by yourself and witnesses, as well as medical evidence from doctors, either live testimony, but usually through deposition, and through medical records. In addition, once a judge renders a decision, if one party, either yourself or the employer insurance company, is not happy with that, they can appeal it to a 3-judge panel called the full board, which hears cases in Atlanta at the State Board of Workers' Compensation. From there, if a party is not pleased with those 2 decisions, then the Superior Court in the venue and jurisdiction of where you got hurt will listen to argument, and they too can issue an opinion, although typically they're bound by what's determined at a lower court. Sometimes, however, they may look at the law and find that there was an error made and can change that opinion. At times, a case might even be appealed to the Court of Appeals, but there has to be an application made for the Court of Appeals for the state of Georgia to hear that argument, so it's not an automatic right. This is a procedural manner. Obviously, lawyers can advise you on what the next step would be in your case. However, I will say that the trend seems to be that if cases can be settled, either before they ever get to the initial hearing stage or perhaps after a decision, that is what judges and the courts would prefer to see. There are lots and lots of workers' compensation claims. It takes some time to get through the court system. And if a case can be settled at some point or another, that is the preference. There are mediations that take place at the State Board of Workers' Compensation where yourself, your lawyer, and the insurance company and their lawyer might sit down in a room with an individual who's considered a neutral and can help the parties facilitate a settlement. There are also private mediators in the state that we're very familiar with, some of which we utilize a great deal and can guide you on that. And then at other times we're able to settle the case without a mediation, just going back and forth between our client and the insurance company and their attorney. If you have ever had any questions about your claim, what process it should take on, and whether or not it should be settled and when, you're welcome to call us at 770-351-0801, and we're happy to speak with you.